Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ryan. Today we have a really fun topic to talk about. It's really the proposal process. And I'm going to start off this talk by really going high level with it. And it's when you're working with, whether it's, whether you're a plumbing company or whether you're, a home builder, whatever the case may be, how do you go about actually getting them a price that they can your customer can see and say yes to or no to or adjust on? And also I'm going to take this standpoint from the process that we do here at Energy Hill. You can adapt it to make sense. And I'm also going to show you our favorite tool we use. It is called Proposify. So with that said, let's get in. The first thing I'm going to talk about is quotes. What is a quote? What does it entail? I'm going to say that a quote, when someone asks you for a quote, we used to call it a quick quote, where they just need a price. It depends on your kind of niche in your industry. I'm going to say that sometimes I'm always a little bit gun shy in just giving quotes because you really need to have a discovery call with them. So I think that quotes come after you do a discovery and you kind of learn what their needs are, what value you can add, if you can add value. In some cases, kind of a personal thing, I'm not the best accountant. I didn't do well in college and I didn't really like it, but I know that from an accounting standpoint, I've brought people alongside me to help. So if it is something where we're doing a rebrand for a company or helping them with something in the relation to rebrand, I'm going to make sure that from a cost standpoint for the school or for the business, hey, how do the numbers look? Does everything look right? Does everything align? So before we can give a quote, so I'm going to say that a quote comes way after you have that discovery and you kind of get to know them and learn about their business. If it's let's say you're in the home builder space or you're in construction in some way, shape, or form, maybe doing home improvement, same thing applies. You need to see the physical surrounding. You need to see what their dream, what their vision is for what they want, and then say yes, I can give you a quote. Now I'm going to say that there's a better route to go about it, and this is what we do here at Energy Hill, and that is a proposal. So it's not just a quote, but it's a proposal. A proposal entails you doing a lot of research. My screen just got real bright. Let me turn it down just a bit here. There we go. A proposal entails you taking all this information and showing how you're actually going to solve their problem. Going back to that home builder, let's say they need, a new extension built onto their home, and it's going to be this massive undertaking. Well, you're going to want to say, here's our process, here's our steps and how we're going to solve that problem. We're a design and brand agency. From a brand standpoint, we're going to jump into contextual design and actually do interviews with your different stakeholders of your team or your company or your school or your organization. We're going to interview them and see what the really good value propositions that you bring to the table. And on the flip side, we're going to see if there's breakdowns, hey, this is really clunky, this is a mess, we don't like this. Because those are things that we can fix in a rebrand. Same thing with a home. Hey, we want to have these collapsible windows out the back of our house, and what's the best glass to have from northern facing or southern facing? I don't know any of that. But the whole idea is that you need to learn what the problems are, put them in a proposal. I'm going to say that proposals should take time. Now you might have some templates built out, you might have some kind of go-to things that services you provide, but proposals can be very lengthy in what they entail. And it can take a lot of work, especially if it's unique for, let's say a request for a proposal from a government entity. That can be very jarring and granular. So it can take a lot more time. So far we've gone over, the first one was the quote. It's kind of just throw them a quote. Then there's the proposal. A lot more kind of work goes into that. There's also this third one that I want to show you, and that's the estimate. The estimate entails you learning a little bit, but you can't really figure out if they have a budget or not. I like to always say that, with a budget, you can kind of be a little bit more accurate on where you want and what services you can provide. An estimate is they're not really sure. They might be new to the space. Let's say they want to build an extension on their home. Go back to that example. They might not know what the cost is. They might not know how long permitting takes. But the idea is you say, well, listen, we're going to give you an estimate which will give you a range of what we're going to be in on a high end. I always go high end first. Say, it could be, I'm just going to pull out a number, $50,000 to build this extension to your home. But depending on where you're at, it could be less. It could be in the 30s or 40s. But I'm going to send you an estimate, putting it in kind of like my guesstimate on where we could be, we're still going to want to find out more to make sure it makes sense for your budget and what you want to do. So let me just kind of recap real quick. Quotes, you really just throw out kind of a rate card. I'm not a huge fan of quotes. I think that a lot of companies intertwine quotes and proposals, which I think is fine. I think proposals, if you're especially a service-based company, you should be putting a lot of effort into your proposals. Estimates are the customer or your client or your partner or your vendor can't give you a number. Then, in that case, you can maybe say, okay, well, I'll give you an estimate of what our service costs, and then you can kind of go from there. But again, estimates, really be careful with estimates with the language you use to make sure that you're not hurting yourself when it comes to your margins. I want to kind of wrap this all up with a tool we use. It's called Proposify. Proposify, there's a lot of other tools out there, but we as an agency, we use Proposify. It really brings this whole chaotic mess together into one web-based app. This is kind of I love this graphic that they created a couple years back where it's start and then draft and design. It kind of goes crazy just to get to signature. Proposify kind of brings all those really steps together in the process and builds it in a place where you can kind of have one nice template, or in a sense snippets and in a sense sections that you can bring in and help build quickly your proposal. It also does a lot of time tracking on where the customer or client has viewed, and it also gets their digital signature. It even offers you to do payments as well, deposits, which is really nice. So definitely recommend it. I always like to kind of shout them out because they're just a fantastic app in this space for what they do. To wrap up, we are Energy Hill. We believe in transforming ideas into experiences via brand, design, and marketing. We are north of Tampa and Land O'Lakes, kind of straight north on 41. Thank you so much for this time. I really appreciate you taking the time. I think it's just a little bit after lunch on the East Coast, so have a good one. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to reach out and let us know in the comments if you have questions, and we can kind of either shout you out there, or we'll actually maybe even do a video. Some of these content pieces that we're coming up with did kind of spawn off from success of other videos, and we like to keep the content relevant to our audience. Thanks so much. Have a great day.